Bernard here is one of the volunteers at the Etruria Industrial Museum. Can you tell us something about the museum?
Yes. Basically, it's not a traditional museum with cases and exhibits. It's the site that's a museum. This site has been industrial since the canals were built in the 1770s. The Calden Canal, which is the one here, was opened in 1778, and it joins the Trent and Mersey just along the canal, which was opened in 1777. Josiah Wedgwood was a prime mover and pushed these canals because he and the other potters and other industrialists realised for the area to expand they needed good transport links. In the north direction was Wedgwood's original pottery,
Yep.
and he founded Etruria and named it, and with a village. And then along the canal and the Calden, various companies set up, obviously went out of business, came into business, out of business. One of the business set up in 1820 actually, but then had a rebuild in 1856-7 was Shirley's Bone and Flint Mill, which is on the canal on the Trent and Mersey, which we will visit. And that has its own canal arm.
So by the flint kiln, so can you explain to me what happened in here?
Yes, well I think if we look at the overall process very slightly, as you know, Stoke-on-Trent is famous for pottery.
Yeah.
But clay on its own, which you can dig up locally, is red, which is okay, but actually clay on its own is pretty useless. You always need to add things to it. Even hundreds of years ago, for the red earthenware, they added sand. To make better ware, better pottery, they added even to red clays and certainly white clays, other materials. One was flint. This is a flint kiln where you took the flint up to 1,000 degrees to calcine it or soften it before it could be ground to a powder suitable for adding to the clay. In here you will see pans. Effectively they are pestle and mortars, large ones, where you could grind flint and afterwards bone that had been calcined to add to the clays. This is the gear room. When the process was produced in the early 1740s, water wheels were used, but we used steam. And this is the gear room where the drive from the engine is transferred to the mill upstairs, and also the ground materials we received for further processing. When this mill was built in 1857, steam drove it. This engine is an 1820 beam engine, and it is fired with a boiler from next door, a very rare engine, and you can see it's quite large for its age, and it gives independence from water and wind. This makes it a scheduled monument. We are also Grade 2 star listed buildings in the conservation area. Obviously, Princess is a steam engine, and at such age you need a lot of steam at low pressure. This boiler was made in 1903, literally half a mile down the road in Cliff Vale, and worked in the swimming baths originally, and brought here in the 80s when the other boiler was damaged. It's an old boiler and a very important piece of industrial archaeology in its own right, and we use steam coal, and it takes 5 days to actually warm up to produce enough steam to run the engine and the mill. As you can see, we buy a canal for ease of transport with our own arm. I always say to people visiting Stoke-on-Trent for pottery, there are 3 levels. There are the dirty people like us that process raw materials. Then you move up to the people that make pottery, maybe Wedgwoods or Gladstone or Middleport, and then the final product in Hanley at the museum, the magnificent collection, probably as good as, or possibly second to the V&A.
Okay, thank you very much, Bernard.
That's made it as brief as I can think and make it.